Getting sick sucks. Not only does it break our hearts when our kids are sick, congested, coughing nonstop, and battling a fever or an illness, but it also disrupts life in a major way. When kids need to stay home from school, that immediately alters our work schedule and our ability to keep up with everything else that's on our plate. And if the illness drags on for days or sometimes even weeks, like is far too common with kids and families today, it's a major issue for all. This is why so many parents absolutely love it when we teach them how to not only help their kids and themselves recover from illness in a safe, natural, drug-free way, but also how to make sure that recovery happens as fast as possible. Now, this video is for parents and families who want a natural, effective approach to recovering from illness faster without relying on medications. If you're tired of the cycle of recurring illnesses and want to understand how to support true healing, then this information is for you. We're going to explore the 3 R's of rapid recovery, which is a comprehensive approach that goes beyond just treating symptoms. You'll learn why rest alone isn't enough and how to properly replenish your body's resources and the crucial role that your nervous system plays in recovery that most doctors don't even mention. So we've seen this in our practice a lot, and actually we just posted a story on our Instagram about a little kiddo named Sly who is absolutely crushing it with a lot of his challenges, but a big one was the immune challenges. So I hope that you can look that one up and see that testimonial, because his mom has just laid it all out there and he has done so well. But in general, especially with new families that we take care of, we see a concerning trend in our practice here at Pediatric Chiropractic Center. Families are getting caught in a cycle of recurring illness, often because they're missing the crucial steps in the recovery process. Now, the conventional approach of stuffing down the symptoms with medications maybe helps things get better symptomatically, but it actually allows the illness to drag on for much longer, and it has an extremely unwanted side effect of disrupting the immune system function and making it actually weaker in the long term. That leads to more and more illnesses over time, and that truly just compounds the issue. So not only does our natural root cause approach address illness at its foundational core to help speed up recovery, but the side effects here in our office are actually good in the long term, leading to a more robust and resilient immune system for you and for your child. So it's time to put the germ theory to rest, because the true answer to helping your child recover from an illness faster and get stronger over time lies within activating and stimulating the body's own natural defenses from what we call the inside-out approach. So let's dig in. Now, first, we have to understand how the immune system works. So in order to get the fastest, best results from our immune system, we have to know how it actually really works, which is the opposite of how most of us were taught. It's not exposure to germs, bacteria, and viruses that make us sick. I'm going to say that one more time. It is not the exposure to germs, bacteria, and viruses that make us sick. We get sick when our immune system is weakened, suppressed, and or dysregulated, which allows those pathogens to get in, to stay in, and then to wreak havoc on our health. When we have a strong, balanced, resilient immune system, then we can be exposed to germs all day long and not get sick. Some call this the hygiene hypothesis. I call this terrain theory. It goes by both names, and that explains why farm kids, outdoor kids, and pediatric and family chiropractors have the strongest immune systems. Now, number 2, the role of the nervous system and how that actually interacts with our immune system is super important. Many parents and providers have heard that the majority of our immune system is in our gut, and they know how important it is to have a healthy diet, to take probiotics, and support gut health to have a strong immune system. But very few parents or providers know about how essential nervous system balance and overall function is to the immune health and getting over illness rapidly. Simply put, when the nervous system is dysregulated, overstressed, and out of balance, which is so common for a lot of the folks we see here, the first thing that it does is it shuts down and suppresses the gut and the immune system. Now, let's talk about the 3 R's of rapid recovery: rest, replenish, and recharge. Now, understanding true rest is probably a little different than what we really think rest is today. Modern rest is often not true rest. Watching TV or checking our phones actually stresses out our nervous system, so it's not letting it rest. Rest needs to include both physical and neurological recovery, so complete disconnection from screens and other stressors is crucial for that rest phase of healing. And that might be kind of hard, but it is important. Now, number 2, another one that gets talked about pretty frequently is replenishment. Illness depletes crucial nutrients and resources, so focusing on clean water and electrolytes and minerals is super important. Emphasizing clean protein and macronutrients, also super important. And then at my house, we do superfood smoothies, fruits, vegetables, and support with specific supplements like vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc, and then natural boosters like bone broth, elderberry syrup, and raw local honey. Those are all great resources when it comes to replenishment. So we've talked about rest, and not just modern rest. We need true rest. We've talked about replenishment. The third one that is not talked about nearly enough unless you're hanging out in our office is the recharging of the neurological connection. Neurologically focused chiropractic adjustments help support more rapid and complete immune system function and recovery in several ways. We're going to jump into a few of them here just to go over at a high level. But number 1, and an easy one for us to appreciate, is it actually improves lymphatic drainage and circulation. So the lymphatic system, which is a really important part of our immune system, it helps clear toxins and pathogens, and it relies on proper movement and nervous system function. So chiropractic adjustments can actually stimulate better circulation and lymphatic drainage by improving the neurospinal mobility, and the plumbing is how I think of it throughout the body. The ears, the nose, the throat, the sinuses, if we think about that in terms of plumbing, all of that should drain south. It should drain into the lymphatics, it should drain to the back of the throat, and then down into the GI tract where that acid will kill whatever pathogen it might be. But if we have poor plumbing, if we have a lot of congestion, if our body isn't able to drain, just like the drain in your sink or your bathtub, it gets backed up. And you don't want that backing up in your house. You certainly don't want that to back up in your head. We need that plumbing to be moving well and to be going the right direction. So faster removal of waste and toxins from the body is actually what can happen when we are adjusting the upper neck and the upper thoracics as well, and helping that lymphatic drainage, helping that circulation, helping the body do what it's trying to do already, which is to get everything moving down and out. This allows the immune system to focus on healing and defense, and we don't get stuck in this congestion, inflammatory cycle. So lymphatic drainage and circulation, that's number 1. Now the next thing that chiropractic adjustments really can help with is cytokine production and balance. And we don't have to get too nerdy here, but cytokines are signaling proteins that regulate our immune response. They regulate inflammation and also cellular communication. So there are inflammatory cytokines like IL or interleukin-6, and there are anti-inflammatory cytokines like IL-10. Spinal misalignments can lead to an overproduction of the inflammatory cytokines, which contributes to more or continuous chronic inflammation. So adjustments actually help restore balance by reducing the release of those inflammatory cytokines and promoting those anti-inflammatory cytokines. This shift leads to decreased systemic inflammation and a more efficient immune response. Again, we're not getting stuck in this congestion, inflammation cycle. We're not actually getting stuck there in the immune system, and the immune system can get to that next part, which is elimination and restoration. We don't want to get stuck in that inflammatory spot, which a lot of us end up getting stuck there. So a balanced cytokine environment supports faster recovery from illness and reduces those chronic inflammatory conditions. Now, a big one, and this we're going to jump into hormones here a little bit. The HPA axis is modulated by our neuroimmune system. So the HPA stands for hypothalamus pituitary adrenal, and that axis is a major part of our neuroendocrine immune system that regulates the body's stress response, and it influences our immune function. So chronic stress will overstimulate that HPA axis, which leads to more stress signaling and more stress hormones like elevated cortisol levels. And those elevated levels and elevated stress response suppresses immune activity and increases our vulnerability to illness. We don't want to be in that stressed out state because our immune system, like we talked about, like the gut, gets shut down. So we're actually shutting things down in several ways here, but this HPA axis is a really important part of it. So chiropractic adjustments that are focused on the nervous system help regulate the autonomic nervous system and help downshift that HPA axis from that chronic stress overdrive. We want to get out of that stress signaling cycle by reducing sympathetic dominance, reducing that fight or flight response, and enhancing the parasympathetic activity, which is the rest and digest and restore side of things. Chiropractic care helps normalize those cortisol levels. So balanced cortisol levels allow the immune system to function optimally without being suppressed by that chronic stress. Now, the last one I'm going to jump into, and there's more of these, but I want to talk about how that neuroimmune communication is handled via the vagus nerve. Now, you've heard me talk about the vagus nerve because it's so important in so many things that we do. And if you're a parent of a kiddo here, you've heard me talk about the eat, sleep, and poop when we want to see those kids getting through those initial milestones. But the vagus nerve is also a crucial connector between the nervous system and the immune system. So it influences inflammation and immune regulation through what's called the cholinergic anti-inflammatory pathway. We don't really need to know that, but when vagal tone, which is measured in our office via that HRV testing that we do on everybody, that heart rate variability, when vagal tone or HRV is low, the body then struggles to regulate that inflammation effectively. So adjustments actually stimulate and activate the vagus nerve, improving vagal tone, improving HRV, and enhancing our neuroimmune connection. So this leads to better modulation of the inflammation and improved resilience against infections. Now, this is super important for any of our kiddos that have had birth trauma, C-section, forceps, vacuum extraction like I had. Those will put a lot of stress on the upper neck. And it creates actually very quickly dysregulation of that vagus nerve. We see this a lot with our kiddos that are constantly sick, constantly coughing, constantly have a runny nose, as well as our kiddos that have had really significant birth trauma. So enhanced vagal activity, enhanced vagus nerve activity promotes quicker recovery from illness and better regulation of our immune responses. All right, now to pull this all together, while getting sick is a normal part of life and obviously being exposed to some of these things we just can't avoid and we don't need to avoid, right? But staying sick longer than necessary isn't something that you have to accept. When we implement that rest, replenish, and recharge, those 3 R's, when we implement those, you can support your body's natural healing abilities and bounce back from illness quicker, as well as see those long-term benefits of a stronger and more resilient immune system down the road. Here at the Pediatric Chiropractic Center, we specialize in helping families optimize their nervous system function through neurologically focused chiropractic care. That's that 3rd R, right? The recharge. This isn't just about feeling better faster. It's about building long-term resilience for your whole family. And if you're ready to learn more about how you can implement the 3 R's and support your family's natural healing ability, please reach out to us, connect with us through our website, give our office a call. We are here to help you and to help guide you and your kiddo's nervous system into a much stronger spot. So let's work together to build stronger, more resilient immune systems for yourself, for your kiddos, and for your whole family.